doesn't happen to those who deserve it. It happens to those who are destined for it. I'm going to repeat that again. Good things doesn't happen to those who deserve it. It happens to those who are destined for it. That is why sometimes you put effort to do things, and then you see someone else who is, you are putting effort towards achieving something, and someone else is getting that same thing you're working towards getting. Someone else is getting it effortlessly. Good things doesn't happen to those who deserve it. It happens to those who are destined for it. The same way you see someone who we think is living a bad life progressing, and then another person else who we think is having a good life, is living a good life, is not doing well in life. Destiny differs. So I want to talk about making intentional decision. Intentional decision is you knowing what you want, you knowing the consequences of what you want, you doing something knowing full well that you have taken your time to think about it. Plus and minus, you know that this is exactly what you want to do, and then you went ahead to do it. Knowing the consequences of your action. Intentional decision involves you asking questions before you make such decision. You make inquiries before you make such decisions. It is the questions you ask, the inquiries that you've made. Those are the things that would help you to know if you should carry on with such decision you want to make. Because when you make inquiries, when you ask questions, you get to know things that you don't even know. When you search, it's just like using Google, you know, and also getting some information online, maybe newspaper and all of that. You will get to know things that you don't know. It will open your eyes to so many things. So it is when you have seen those things, when you have known a lot that you know before, that you will be able to know if you should carry on with this particular thing you want to do. So ability to draw to conclusion, to make that decision then, is what we call intentional decision. A lot of us don't have it. We just do something because we are expecting something, because we know what we are going to gain from what we are doing. I'll give an example. I will still use Annie Idibia. That is the trending news. Annie Idibia said in one of the podcasts that she has met Two-Face long time ago, before every other woman in his life. So other women went on to have babies for him. So they had 5 babies before Annie Idibia. So Annie Idibia picked offense, and then she wasn't happy with it, of which the honest truth, nobody is going to be happy with that. Subscribe to my channel, please. Of which the honest truth, being human, nobody is going to be happy with such thing. So she has decided, she went on to say to herself, for the fact that she met Two-Face first before every other woman, and then they went on to get pregnant for him, she's going to remain in his life, and then he's going to marry her. It's just like compensation. Because I know you first, you should marry me before every other person. Even if they have had kids for you, you are meant to marry me. Subscribe to my channel, please, if you are joining. Thank you. So this is a kind of thing she has. She said it with her mouth that she met him first, and then other women went to get pregnant first before her. So she made this decision that she's going to make sure that Two-Face marry her. And that a kind of, when you are fighting something with someone who is going to win, women mostly do this. When we are fighting, fighting over a man, you want to drag a man from other women, and then you want to make sure to boast that you are the one who won this man. You are the one whom he finally settles with, the one he married. So it's a kind of thing that happened between Annie Idibia and other ladies that got pregnant for Two-Face. So, but Annie wasn't so ready for what was going to come afterwards, because she already knew that This man will not give her what she wants. This man cannot play the husband figure she wants in her life. And then she went on to marry her, to make him to marry her. Because I would say she made him to marry her. Just so that other women would know that she won. Yes, she won the battle, but other women are now living happily, okay, than her. Because nobody is facing the consequences she's facing. Now she's at the rehab. Baby mamas are there at the rehab. No. They are living their life happily, okay. And you know what happened is this. It is possible that with relationship, sometimes we don't think afterwards. We are just looking at, thanks everyone, I see you guys, I appreciate. We are just looking at what is happening at the moment. We don't look forward. What might have played in this is this. When a man has kids with a woman, he has to always go to see the children. And Annie has been fighting Two-Face over the baby mama, that he's still having something, he's still having an affair with the baby mama. We are not certain about this. I'm saying based on what Annie said in one of the videos where they were having problem before. So she was lamenting that he is still having an affair with one of the baby mamas. And also she said in one of the videos that he's packed his bag without telling her where she was going, and then Two-Face planned with his brothers to travel to the US. So this was how he traveled to the US with Annie not knowing about it. So that is to say that, according to her, that something is still happening between Two-Face and then the baby mama. And you know what happens is these are going to continue to put pressure on the man. It's just like a man who is dating, who is double dating, or a married man who is cheating. The side chick will continue to put pressure on the man. And sometimes they will begin to teach this man how to treat the wife at home. These things happen and we don't know about it. When the side chick begin to teach a husband how to treat the wife at home, you will see your husband giving some attitude you don't even know. And when you continue to live with a man, to some point he will not begin to see you, to be that important. There is something we call see finish. He will not even rate you the way he rates other women outside. He will hear anything they tells him from outside. He will prioritize that more than the one you said inside. Some men are like this. Now, a man who already you knew was irresponsible, you had to go to the point of making him to marry you. Do you think he's going to take you serious? No. So he's going to prioritize those women who don't even want to marry her. The baby mama who knew that he wasn't good enough for them. And then they left him, they took a walk. Than you that have forced him to make you. I wouldn't say forced because I don't know what happened. Because you forcefully, I said first because you remained into his life knowing that this particular person is not good for you. Yet you still want to prove a point that you won his heart. He chose you as his wife. Other people are now more happy and living a successful life. She's battling with some whatever at the rehab. Now, these women are going to continue to teach this man how he's going to treat you. You begin to have some change of attitude. And at a point, when they keep pushing, the man is no longer who he used to be. He comes home, you are fighting him. Love begins to drop. Every time it is one kind of word or the other. You are dragging, you are insulting. And when you keep insulting a man, and then someone else is praising him outside, even though they are lying, even though they are pretending, just so that they can get him out from his comfort zone. Men don't get these things most times. Even though those women are lying, just so that there will be a problem between him and the one he has at home. This is what they're going to do. If you think you want to fight a woman over a man, they're going to just allow. If you think you have won, you have relaxed, then they'll begin to mount pressure on you, especially when the man keeps going after them. This is the reason why I keep saying it is better to be a girlfriend and be treated right than to be a wife and indoor trash, all in the name of a wife. If he's going to continue to seek advice from the women out there, why did he marry you? He better keep you as a girlfriend. When you were his girlfriend, he was treating you well. Everything was going on fine. It used to be you all the time. So he married you, and all of a sudden he wants to change all of that. No. It is better he keeps dating you. If there is something that comes with that name, marriage, that title, marriage, that will make that love to drop, he had better not marry you. Keep dating. This is the reason why I said relationship is better. It is better you are dating than to be married and miserable. To the point that you'll be married and then you will land at the rehab. And you know one thing, people will move on. If something happens to you, they will move on. A man is going to move on with one of the women you have been fighting him over. One of the women you have been warning him. One of the women he told you they are just friends. I don't have anything to do with them. He's going to move on with them. You don't make so much sacrifices that you can't afford to bear when things turn sour. It is not just the man now. Women are also like that. She's going to leave you to a man that she told you they are just friends, that nothing is happening. To a man she told you he was just a cosmate. He was just a neighbor. This is human nature. If you enable them, they will do a whole lot of shit to you and get away with it. Fighting a man over a woman, fighting a woman over a man is not something anyone should do. Because at the end of it, if that man ever has anything to, ever stick, has something to do with those women or with any woman you fought him over, he's going to continue to take instruction from that woman. This is the reason, because that woman knows that you are in his life. But to you, he made you believe that that woman is not in his life anymore. I don't know if you get the point now. He's going to make you believe that you won him and he has nothing doing with that woman again. But then he will make the woman know that the other woman is going to he's going to make him know that she already know that you are in his life. In that case, when anything he's doing is going to be a sneaky thing. And when he's hiding it, he doesn't want you to know. Because he thinks within himself that he doesn't want to lose you. Because he's the one he can control. Because he's the one he can afford at that moment. If he's in a level he wants to be, I am sure that he's going to push you away and go over to that woman that he's hiding to have something to do with. For him to have chosen you means that you are affordable. You are the one he can afford. You are the one he can control. That is the reason why he will choose you, because he believes he can trust his life in your hands. This is the reason why he will choose you and wife you. He will make you a wife and then continue to go over to the other woman. Now, it is that woman that is going to keep telling him what he's going to do. And the change of attitude will start over in the house. That is why it is not always good for a woman to compromise. You know your man does this particular thing all the time. And then when he comes back, he begins to drop. He begins to change. And then you want to accept that. It is not good to compromise. Sometimes you think it is for peace to reign. Peace is not reigning. He's taking instruction from somewhere else. Especially if you have a cheating man. Do not compromise. Those women are beginning to tell him something. Yeah, if she's not happy, leave her. If she is forming that she's angry, leave her. If she's forming that she don't want to eat, don't call her, don't talk to her again. And then you know a lot of people are frustrated. A lot of women, relationship has dealt with them that they begin to now pass on the energy to other person. They want their fellow women to feel the same thing that they have felt. So because it is just like, I will use yourself for as an instance. If you are not happy and then you see people happy, you're going to continue to wonder, How come is this even possible? If you've never had a good relationship in your life, and then you see people having and talking about it, just like what we are seeing on the internet, not every one of it is true. Although a lot of them are pretending, but just as the one we are seeing, because you have never experienced a good relationship, you will be like, is this even possible? It sounds like a story to you. You don't believe it. You don't know what it feels like. And when you see people, sometimes if you have a good heart, you can envy them. And sometimes if you don't have a good heart, it turns to jealousy. This is what happens when those bitter women, those who have faced a whole lot of bad things in relationship, when they see you happy, and then they have access to that man, and then they knew that this is what whom you fought them over, they will now begin to say bad things to that man. Then the man will come back home and begin to act in a certain way. If you know that all the time you are the one who is always trying to put effort, let it go. It is always better, like I say, that you live with a sweet memory in your relationship than for you to remain in that relationship until everything turns sour. Because when it turns sour, if you are living, or if you are separating with bitterness, a whole lot of anger. But when it is still good, and then you notice that things are not working out, things are no longer what it used to be, and then you knew that this is the right time for you to do what, to take a walk. You don't need someone to preach that to you. You don't need someone to cause so much mental damage for you before you will know that this is the right time for you to take a walk. If you take a walk at that moment with those sweet memories, chances are that the separation, the man might begin to think, the man might understand that you are the best decision for him. The woman might begin to miss you and understand that you are the best person, the best choice for them. But if you stay until things turn sour, there is something my mom would always say. If you are quarreling with your friends, when it comes to you want to exchange words with your friends, be careful with your choice of words, just in case you want to make peace with that person. Most time it is out of anger that you say a whole lot of things to your friends. And then when it is time to make peace, you cannot take back your words. You have said them already. Your words are there, and it is something that will keep ringing in their head. It is stored somewhere in the memory. So that is what happens in this relationship and marriage. It is better you separate before you spoil everything, before things turns very sour, that it is irreconcilable. It is always good to go with a good memory, so that when you remember you dated this person, you are going to smile and wish, and say, I wish we made things work. I wish we are destined to be together. Than when you separate, you remember a person, you sigh, you regret you ever put effort to make something work. They are two different things. Not everyone knows about what I'm saying. Because what causes pain in separation most of the time, in divorce most of the times, is the effort you have put in. You have made so much sacrifices. You know that this person is showing you some attitude that this thing is not going to work, but you keep making sacrifice. You went the extra miles just to see if it's going to work or not. You never enjoyed yourself in that relationship or marriage. You are just busy putting every effort, working so hard to see that things work out between both of you. And just like working hard to make something for yourself, to build a name for yourself, to raise a company or a business for yourself, and at the end of it didn't grow. Everything scattered. You're not going to be happy with it. Every time you remember your efforts, it is going to hurt you. We are all human beings. That is what happens in our relationship or marriage. Whatever thing you are doing in that relationship or marriage, make sure it is something that when you remember, you know that you only tried your best, but you didn't do more than you should do. Do not displease yourself. just so that you can make a relationship or marriage work. It is not going to work, because at a point that your partner will begin to think you are running away from your own shadow, that you are not even okay being who you are. You are looking for whom to dump yourself to. And of course, we are all human beings. We all want someone who can represent us. We all want someone that we can run to and be like, I want you to do this for me. I want to, like, when you talk to someone, you know that this person is strong, is someone you can rely on. We all want that kind of a person. So when you continue to beg a person, when you continue to put every effort for that relationship to work, you are causing that your partner to get tired of you. Take yourself as an instance. When you don't want a person and that person continue begging you, you are going to continue to find that person irritated. That is what happens to your partner. That moment that you know that they needed a space, and then you are all crying all the time. Please don't leave me. I don't want to be alone. They're going to continue to find you irritated, because you are so, to cling on someone, a partner who clings so much that you don't even want to give them a breathing space. It will continue to, like, yeah, they're not going to be happy with it. There's something we call pepper body. Body go dey pepper you. It happens. So the best thing is, once you notice that it has gotten to that level, it has gotten to that point, pull yourself together and go with the sweet memories you have, rather than spoiling things, so that you don't have anything to regret. You will only know that this person was good to you, only that it didn't work out as planned. Because if you still remain there, all the moments he was good to you, all the moments she was good to you, you are not going to remember those moments again. The only thing you are going to see is their toxic part. Is the part of them who has refused to let you go. That is the only thing you are going to continue to see. And of course, you know something I'll tell you. If you continue to live with a person who messes with your head, your mental health, it is a gradual process. For every night you had sleepless nights because of that person, for every day you didn't eat, you were unable to eat because of that person, you were unhappy because of that person, it affected you. Every second you were angry counts. It does something to your emotion, it does something to your mental, even your physical being, which we don't even know. Now, what is going to continue, what is going to happen is, it will gradually drain you to a point where they begin to see you as a cycle. Now, nobody is going to remember that this person was not like this before. We know human, we easily forget. What we know is what is happening, what we are seeing. It is only few people who would remember that last year this person wasn't like this. It is only people who would only few people who will remember that few years ago, before she entered into this relationship, she was not like this. Few years ago, before he met this woman, he was not like this. It is only few people who is going to remember that. Just as Annie Idibia is now. Nobody remembered that when she was an African queen to Two-Face Idibia, she was not like this. She never had any mental or any illness that would land her to a rehab. So something triggered her. Nobody is going to talk about that. What they're going to keep saying is what you did. But the causes of that, we don't want to know an action. All we see is reaction. But the causes of everything that happened, for how many years of her life she spent with this man, nobody is going to say what happened. Now, nobody is talking about the fact that he had 5 kids when he was in a relationship with Annie Idibia. What we are now saying is, why did you went on to marry him? You saw the red flags, but you ignore. People are going to blame you for that good thing you think you are going to do, for that peace you think you want to make to reign. At the end of it, you might pay the price. And the price is not something you ever wished for. It is not something you ever saw coming. Because if you see it coming, you are going to avoid it. And most times, We think it is by prayer, especially Africans. We think we can pray our way out instead of walk our way out, instead of find our way out, instead of Google our way out, to think our way out. We think we want to pray our way out. If Annie Idibia knew that she will get to a state where she is right now, to a point where she is right now, she would have made a better choice for herself. She would have been one of the baby mamas rather than to marry Two-Face. It is always good that you remain a girlfriend and be treated right than to force yourself into that marriage. Forever is a long way to go. When you continue to live with a man, something we call see finish will definitely enter. So it is better you allow him to make that choice rather than for you to make that choice. Allow him to take the move. Let him feel it. Let him hunger to make you his wife, especially when you knew he has choices of other women. Especially when you know that he has choices of other women. Someone who was dating you and went on to have 4 kids. Now let's leave the case of Annie Idibia. Something happening in our life. When a man starts a relationship with you, or when you start a new relationship with a man, he's all over you. And then you have 1 or 2 things you are doing for yourself. You found this man. You think it is time for you to relax. You think it is time for you to depend on his money. You think it is time for you to do anything to make this love work. At the beginning of every relationship, if a prophet should tell you that something is going to happen, it is going to turn sour in the next year, in the next 2 years or 3 years, you will not believe it. If relationships are what they are at the beginning, I am sure there will be no such thing like divorce. Because for every divorced couple, they started with relationship. It was the sweetness, the butterflies, that made them get married to each other. If it wasn't sweet, they wouldn't be married. And if there is nothing like sweetness at the beginning of any relationship, there will be no such thing like marriage. Because it is that sweetness, it is the fun, it is the love that makes you want to spend the rest of your life with that person. You thought it was going to last. You thought it is something that both of you are going to work together for. And then, when you start, you forget about yourself, putting every effort in someone else, thinking that you are in this with someone, thinking that this person, this your partner, is someone you can count on, not knowing that they are only being smarter than you, not knowing that they are only using you for the moment, not knowing that they settled for you because you are whom or what they can afford at the moment. Until you help them get to a certain stage, until you help them get to a certain level, they're going to begin to show you attitude. They're going to begin to see the people, a woman. He's going to see that this particular woman out there is actually his test of a woman. She's going to realize that this particular man is actually the kind of man she wants for herself. Until you help them get to a certain level, you will know that you wouldn't have been an option for them at all, if not that they didn't have what they wanted at the moment. When you start a relationship, carry yourself along. It is not always what it is at the beginning. And of course, sometimes when we meet new people, we get carried away. We want to know more about them. The little part they show us that interests us, we think they are everything we want. That is what happens in relationship. When a man continues to live with a woman, Sometimes he begins to see her as a sister. That when he sees another woman out there, even a woman that is far below the one he is living with inside, he will think there is something special about that woman out there. There is nothing there. Until he goes, he will see that that is actually chaff. That is the reason why you, as a woman, know how you compromise, know how you carry yourself. It doesn't matter how many children you have had for that man. It is how you carry yourself. It is how you represent yourself. It is your pride that will continue to make him to have sexual arousal for you. It is who you are that is going to make him, if he goes outside there, he's going to know that those women out there are actually chaff. And that is what is going to bring him back. It is the kind of packaging you have that is going to make him return back to you. That is going to make him, no matter what they say to him out there, he's going to come home, comport himself, and respect you. He's going to have respect for your kids, respect the family you build, and respect that thing called marriage. But if you think that all the time it is your duty to make something right, if you think that you need peace so much that you're going to do anything possible, excuse me, if you think that you need peace so much that you're going to do anything or everything possible to bring peace to your home and to him, when he doesn't want it, when he hasn't even shown that he needs that peace, you're going to lose everything because you have already messed everything up. Allow a person to do something right when you know they are wrong. That is how to bring them to be at peace with you. If you know they are at wrong, get them to do the right thing. But if you think that you are in a better position to do the right thing, so that if you think that you are in a better position to do what they are supposed to do, so that you will get them to continue to stay with you, you are getting it all wrong. Do not take someone's responsibility upon yourself, especially an adult, particularly a man. Do not take a man's responsibility upon yourself, because you are going to make him get too comfortable at leaving those things for you. Have you not seen that if a man is staying with a woman and he doesn't parent because he thinks that he cannot afford to parent, there is a man who is doing one or two things, not that he has a disability, not that he has a problem, a full-grown man who is okay. He's living with a woman and then he's forming that, he's pretending, he's acting, because those things are not reality. It is because you allowed him that he begins to act that way. Those things are not real. So he's acting, pretending to you that he cannot afford to pay rent, and then you are the one paying all the rent. Wait until you finally have a problem with him. Then you will know that he has a place to stay, he can afford to pay rent, that he can hustle as a man, that he can sit up. It is because you do not allow him to be a man. It is because you have not shown him how important he should be in your life. Men love to be praised. This same man that have not paid a rent for you for one day, all the time is always complaining. He doesn't even provide food in the house. Now when you separate from him, he moves on with another woman. A woman who doesn't even care about the house rent. If you don't pay the house rent, she's comfortable going to squat with her friends. She's comfortable going outside there to beg people for accommodation. She's willing and ready to do that rather than to stay with you. She's ready to go and lodge in a hotel until she gets another agent that would help her get a place where she can accommodate herself alone. You will see that man will sit up. He will pay the rent. Even if he cannot pay the full rent, he will contribute to pay the rent. He will provide the food in the house. It is because you are doing it, and then he feels comfortable, that you understand him. Because you understand that not every man can afford to pay a rent. Why can't a man pay a rent when he is comfortable, when there is nothing wrong with him, when he is working? Have you not asked, why can he not pay rent? You go to work all the time, you come back. What do you do with your money? Except you know what he does with money. If you don't know what he does with money, how then is it your business that he can't afford to pay his rent? It is his business. He's a man. Get him to be a man. Because if you don't want him to be a man, when another woman picks him up, she will get him to be a man. And then you begin to wonder, is this the same man that lived with you? Yes, he's the same man. But you didn't do the same thing that that woman was doing. That is why she was able to get a different result. Every man that is in your life is important in one way or the other. Even if he doesn't have money, at any level he is, there is something he can afford to do for you. We are not talking about wealthy men now, no. At any level a man is, so long as he is in your life, there is something he must afford to do for you. So long as he is in your life, there is something he must afford to do for you. If he can't do anything for you, what is he doing in your life? Is he there to get you pregnant and then go? When he gets you pregnant, what role does he play to help you carry the pregnancy? Except you are making an intentional decision, which is maybe you just need a man to make you get pregnant. Just as Annie Idibia would have done with Two-Face, you know that this man isn't any husband figure to you. So because he is a big name, you can decide to, I must stick by his side. I must be his wife. His name must be attached to that of my kids. And so you see, you are intentional with this decision. My baby is up. So you see, you know the decision you are making, the choice you are making, meaning that you want to make a big name to your kids. You just want that name to be attached to your kids, knowing that you can afford to take care of those children, even if the man said that he doesn't want to take care of them, even if he decides to neglect them. You have given them the name. Because Two-Face is a big name, and of which I know a lot of people would love to associate with. Do not expect such a person to be a husband figure to you. You should always expect him to do more because he has done this while in relationship with you. Do not expect him to get any better in marriage. You have already led him to know that you can tolerate him. You can accept him. You have already shown him desperation, that out of 100 women out there, that you are ready to fight, knowing that he has shown you some level of disrespect in that relationship. You have already made him to know that you are ready to fight hundreds, thousands, and millions of women just to be with him. At the end of it, who is winning? Those who are not even married to him are okay, doing well for themselves. Now, Annie Idibia used to be a woman that does something good for herself. We know her as an actress, as a model, and a lot of things. Now, what do we know her for? Ever since she got married, we now know her as Two-Face's wife. Nothing else attached to her name. And then, did you know that this title wife can be taken away from you? If wife is taken away from, just as he has already done, so we don't know what they're up to again, but just as Two-Face has already done, he has taken that title away. What else is attached to you? Nothing. So you see, at the end of it, if you are not careful, you will lose. Make an intentional decision. Know the consequences of the choices you are making, which is that number one, this man is a cheat, and I do not expect him to be active. I do not expect him to be present in my life all the time. The consequences of that choice you are making is that this man, even while being married to you, can still get other women pregnant. That is the consequences of the choices you are making. As an adult, you should know this. When you decide to marry such a person, you should know that this man can wake up one day and decide not to be in love with you again. You should know that this man can wake up someday and decide to move on with any of the baby mamas. Consequences of the intentional decision you make. When you know this, you'll be able to chest it. When you know that this man, he's one of his baby mama could even influence him, one of his baby mama could even tell him, do this to me, do that to me, and you know that he can come back home with an attitude to you. These are one of the choices and the consequences you should be expecting. In that way, whenever he comes back home with some attitude, you know you are expecting it already. You are aware that these kind of things are going to happen. It won't come to you unaware. It is when it hits you unaware that you don't know how to react to it. If you're a kind of woman who is married and then you bring friends, your female friends back home, if you have at the back of your mind that chances are, even if you trust your husband, did you trust your friends? If you trust your friends, did you trust your husband? And if you trust the both of them, how tested and reliable are these trusts? Trust is not enough. Have they proven it to you? Now, when they are coming around your home, you are not suspecting anybody, but this is something you should have at the back of your mind. When you live two adults together, it is possible that something like this can happen. It is possible that they can begin to signal each other. It is possible that this and this can happen. So even when it happens, you are not surprised. You know how to go about it. It is when you come and then you be like, I trust my wife 100%. I trust my husband 100%. I trust my girlfriends 100%. Forgetting that you are dealing with human. And then just because they signal each other, you are taking it too personal. These are adults who are allowed to flirt. Even though it is disrespectful, when you have at the back of your mind, you are dealing with human, you are dealing with adults. It is disrespectful, and of which courtesy demand that when they are married to you, they should respect each other. If you are my friend, you should respect our friendship. This is what they are meant to do. But of course, you should trust women. They did otherwise. You want to take it personal. When you have at the back of your mind, when you are aware of certain things, nothing will take you unaware. You will not be surprised when some things happen. It will happen, and when it happens, you know that things like this happen. You can easily maneuver your ways. You can easily handle those things. It is when you play innocent and then you expect woman to act innocent. You expect woman to be perfect, to act in a way you expect or you wanted them to act. That is when you will get too much angry over something you are not supposed to you are not supposed to get pissed off. You heard that your friend said something behind you. You are taking it too personal. Something, if you so much need that friend in your life, and then you know that you don't want to cut off this friendship, you could ask, why did they say something like this? And of course, you know, sometimes when you open your heart to people, they can begin to adjust. You can ask, why did you say something like this? And then when you ask, do not go confronting, do not go fighting. Whether they want to explain or they don't want to explain, just know that this person doesn't want it and move on. Do not go worry yourself over it. Do not go overreacting. Because I tell you one thing, there is something they say that your triggers are your responsibility. It isn't the world's obligation to tiptoe around you. I don't know if you get that point now. Your triggers are your responsibility. It isn't the world's obligation to tiptoe around you. That is the reason your friend will come into your home and do anything she wants to do. That is the reason your guy will walk into your office, walk into your home, come for your party and do anything they want to do. Your triggers are your responsibility. It isn't their obligation to tiptoe around you. Letting you know that you should learn how to manage yourself. You should learn how to manage your anger. Because at the end of it, whatever you do, nobody cares. What they see is your reaction. What we see is what Annie Idibia is reacting to. What she is doing right now. We no longer consider what triggered her. We no longer consider what has she been to for the past 20-something years or thereabout. She has been in this man's life. I am not quite certain about the age, but I hear from different sources. Some people say 15. She has been with him since she was 15 years, since she was 16 or thereabout. But the important thing is that, judging from her age, so she has been with him before she was 18 years. So add that to her age now, you will see that she has been with him for a long time. Now, nobody is asking what is going on, what went on. It is you that will pay the price. You want to put every effort to make sure that these things work. You find out that someone isn't doing right by you, and then you want to cover up for them. You are going to tell them, the only way I'm going to cover up for this is that you do the right thing to me. And in that case, and in that way, they will continue to do the right thing. If they don't do the right thing to you, and then they want you to cover them in public, it shows that they know what they are doing. They are intentional with what they are doing. Because if they are being themselves and they are doing exactly what is in their nature, that same thing they did to you indoors is the same thing they're going to do outside. If they come outside, if they shout at you indoors, if they mistreat you indoors, if they do a whole lot of things to you indoors, when you praise them outside, they shouldn't be happy with it. Why? Because that is not whom they are. They claimed that is not whom they are. How come all of a sudden they want you to praise them outside? They want you to cover their mess for them. But they would never they would never get to do the right thing to you when you are with them. A minute, let me see, since my baby, let me know if he has done it, and then I will still come back to continue, please. Few minutes, let me see, and then continue. Yes, sir. Okay, let me change his diaper and I will be back. Yes, sir. Daddy. 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 I want to change my son's diaper. My son's diaper. My son's diaper. I don't know if there is any woman or a mother whose child is having the same thing as mine. My child can go 5 days before he opens his bowel. 5 days before he opens his bowel. And then we've been to hospital so many times because of it, and they say it is okay, he's okay, there is nothing wrong with him. Just because, you know me, I used to sometimes compare him to myself, and then an adult who hasn't opened his or her bowel for, if you don't go to toilet for 2 days, it is very uncomfortable. So how much more a baby? So that is what is happening to me. I'll just keep, using myself to, I keep using myself to judge how he will be feeling without opening his bowel. So, but they said, hospital said, there is no need for that. I should just let it go, that he's okay. I mean, if they check him and then everything is okay, who am I? If everything is okay with him, who am I? I have to let it go then. To a point that it got to a level where a doctor has to prescribe Movicol. He has to give my baby Movicol. My baby is, as at then, he was just 2 months. He was just 2 months then. So the doctor had to prescribe Movicol for him. And Movicol, from the leaflet, I read that it should be given from a year old. It should be given from a year old, not for people at his age or below his age. So when I read that from the leaflet, I was like, is this a kind of, because I need to continue reading to see where, they normally put instructions there. So I need to continue reading to see where his age gap fell into. So I couldn't find it there. I couldn't find his age there. I was like, what's going on? And by then I've already given him for about a week. So something led me to check the leaflet. What made me to read the leaflet? And of course, the reason I didn't read it at first place was because I got it from the hospital. So I felt I should just follow instruction. The instruction was given to me already. So I felt I should just follow the instruction. That was why I came back. I didn't read it, and after all, it wasn't a self-prescription. So I got it immediately. I started giving. So the reason I had to read it was when he started his poo the color was green. And since I gave birth to him, he never had that greenish poo before. So, and then he now does frequently slimy, and so the condition then was the poo was greenish color, the color was green, and then it is slimy also frequently. Someone who doesn't go to toilet for days, all of a sudden he started doing it often. Like he does 3 to 4 times. Sorry, Bobo. He does 3 to 4 times like in a day. So, and it has to be, so it is watery. Then I thought something that would stop in a day. It didn't stop. The next day he continued. So I got worried. I had to read the leaflets just so to see if just so I will know if it is part of the signs, the symptoms that he will be getting when he's taking it. only for me to find out that he is still too young for that. So I had to call my GP. I stopped giving him the Movicol, so I had to call GP. They also said I should stop as well, and then book appointments. We still went on to check him, everything was fine. Even the doctor that was at work then, when I told him I gave my baby Movicol, she was like, when I told her I gave my baby Movicol, she was like, Movicol? Under whose prescription? I said a doctor. And then she said she hasn't given that prescription to anyone before, but that I should stop it. A minute, let me give him food. Take it. Mm-mm. Hmm. Oh boy. La la la. La la la. My son is eating. My son is eating. Are you okay? No. Take. Mm-hmm. Mm, mm, So I fed my boy. Mm, mm. So that was my story with my boy, you how he went from constipating. I used to give him, he used to eat formula before and breast milk, but he stopped liking formula. Now he's only breastfeeding. And not say that breastfeeding babies don't always go to toilet all the time. So guys, thank you. We have come to the end of today's live stream. God bless everyone who joined, everyone who subscribed. I appreciate. Keep turning on for me, or turning up for me, guys. I'm feeling sleepy. Let me sleep. This one that my baby is up. Okay. Bye guys. Bye guys. Bye guys. Say bye guys. Bye guys.